Hey, 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 how art thou? It is Monday morning. My name is Michelle Marquardt DeVoe, and here we are. It's Monday, April 12th. Are you in the middle of spring break right now, or did you have spring break last week or the week before? I am curious, and I'm also curious about where you're popping in from today. Microphone. Because someone told me that we get viewers from all over the world. So my social media manager, my marketing manager was like, hey, we've got hits all over the world. And I'm totally curious about where you are because I know that we do a lot of business talk here. We do a lot of professional development talk here. And I am from the United States, California, no less. So that puts a certain glasses on my eyes, and I want to learn better how to have more wide lenses. So let me know where you are. Let me know where you're popping in from. And hi, Karen. And today, my name is Michelle Marquardt DeVoe again, and I am from Faith Culture. Look, I can't even do the TikTok reel thing. I'm like, don't even point in the right direction. I'm from Faith Culture Kiss Studios, and we are a company that does professional development, personal development, and we get you to be the person that you are designed to be in order to run the business that you want to run. And then we tell you how to run your business too. So today, I am talking about tools and systems. If you are listening, could you tell me just put in the chat, how do you normally go about picking a tool? And I'm going to tell you a story. When I first started my business, my number one priority for picking tools was what was fancy and new. I love new fancy things. I love shiny objects, and I love tools that give us the opportunity to do things more efficiently and effectively. However, I spent a lot of money and I spent a lot of time wasted around those tools because I had not really clearly, effectively figured out why I wanted the tool, other than everybody was saying it was cool. I had posted in forum and asked a question, blah, 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 all of that. I have learned over the years that your tools will never be anything more than fancy pants unless you are at a place where you know what your system is in order to get that tool to work. So I'm over here. I have these weird comment things going on in Ecamm. So if you are watching with me, then I hope that I can actually see your comments today because they've been acting a little bit on the funk. So Karen, if you're still here and you see a comment and I don't say something cool and it's a good comment, I want you to let me know so that I can put it up on the board and all of that and shout it out. So let's start first things first. What do you want to do? What do you need to know? The first thing I want you to do when you're starting with tech is I don't want you to start with tech. Okay. I do not want you to start thinking about when you decide to have your business. I don't want you to start thinking, what technology do I need? Okay. So we think that we know, kind of from the ethos, we're in business groups or whatever. And we're like, oh, I need a website. And oh, I need an email list. And oh, I need a bookkeeping software. Oh, I need a way to schedule people. Oh, and we get all these great ideas because other people in their businesses are having amazing results with these tools. So we just assume I need all these tools. And then we go out and we purchase these tools based on some people's recommendations around the tools without actually knowing where they're going to fit into our business. And the problem with that is then what we start to do is create a business around the tool instead of find tools that fit in the business. So of course we need technology, of course. But please don't start just buying technology. And when I say technology, I'm talking about hardware. So what kind of computers, iPads, tablets, any of that. I'm also talking about softwares. So software being any applications, any desktop apps, any productivity apps, any of that, any softwares that you would use on the back end of your system and on the front of your system. So, technically a pencil is technology, right? So when I'm talking about tech, I'm talking about the hardware that you choose and the software and the applications that you choose. We know that we need this. what happens is we start to choose things based on their feature list. And we say, oh, well, this can do that. Oh, well, this email can do this instead of this. Well, this can do that. And we start to fall into the whole psychology of more is better. And so we will purchase a software that, number one, we are not emotionally ready for in terms of the overwhelm that is going to come with learning it. And number two, that our business is not ready for. And then we wind up with a bunch of wasted features, right? So don't start with the tech when you are starting with tech. What I do want you to start with is a system. So because the word system is so often used in the context of technology, we tend to think that we're choosing systems when we're really choosing applications and digital tools and softwares. A system is simply a list or a standard operating procedure. A system is what the order of the things you are going to do in order to accomplish your goal for that business task. And that actually will live on something like a Google Doc or a spreadsheet or a mind map or a productivity tool. So a system is what you have decided is going to happen in your business, almost like just checkboxes, checklist from beginning to end around what you need to do and what you've decided that you want the workflow to be in your business. Sometimes if we pick a tool based on features, we will overly complicate the workflow and it won't actually work with our particular business. So let me give you an example of a system. I have some really exciting news. We have an ebook coming out for you. I made my first ebook working with my team, and it is on onboarding. And it's like, if you've never thought about how you onboard a client, that's for you. So that's coming. But because it's coming, I'm going to kind of outline what it can look like to have a system in your onboarding process. So what you want is you're going to write on your document, you need a system around what happens between when a client first reaches out to you to when they have signed a contract and you're working with them regularly. Okay. So some people use the term onboard in terms of like, once they've signed the contract, how do you get them ready to work with you after they've paid? I include this in like the entire kind of from first call to signed contract. So I do use the term a little bit differently than it's used out there in the big bad world. But I wanted to let you know that the definition. You need to have some way that you constantly and consistently work to get a person from when they first contact you to working with them regularly. You need to know how they're going to reach you. You need to know how and where your first conversation is going to take place. Is it going to be on text, on email, on the phone? You need to know if you want to have a phone consultation, then maybe you need to know if you need them to fill out a form or not. Do you want them to book and pay at the same time? Do you want to like pencil it in so that you have complete flexibility as well? So you decide, what do you want that process to look like? Once you've made the decisions around what you want the process to look like, you're going to make a checklist of the order of operations. And this is really... it's seriously just a checklist, y'all. It's seriously a checklist. People hear standard operating procedures and they go, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's not a complicated thing. It's just a time-consuming thing because it's you downloading everything that you do kind of by rote and you do just because you do it onto a piece of paper and actually examining what you do. So that's what a standard operating procedure is. From your decisions, we're going into the standard operations. It might look like this. Checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. Receive an inquiry. Send a follow-up email. Offer the phone call. Book the phone call. Send a Google form to learn more about a client. Review form before call. Have call. In the call, decide to move forward or not. If yes, send follow-up email to schedule a first lesson. If no, send a follow-up emails with tips on how to find their best teacher. Assuming yes, schedule first lesson. Do lesson. Email proposal to forward a committed lesson plan. Signed proposal received. Book student out for length of term. Begin. Right? Every student is going through that process. Every client is going through that process. And yeah, you might add kind of some fancy bits in there and personalize it as you go, but that's your standard operating procedure. Once you know that system, once you know that standing operating procedure, then you ask the questions about the tools. Okay, so knowing this is what I want the customer journey to be, what tools do I actually need? The one that I just outlined is actually pretty basic. You need email, you need a phone, you need Google Forms or some other type of form. You need some sort of contract signing delivery thingy bob, right? Like HelloSign, or, deciding if you want to just send a PDF, scannable app, and doing a PDF and having an email back and forth. You need a way to do the actual lesson. So if you're online still, maybe you want microphones and a digital keyboard and a piano, right? And then you need some sort of like scheduling apparatus, which could literally be your paper journal and pens, or it can be an online thing depending on how you want to do that. When you look at your system, you can decide about your tools. Then you can say, where am I right now in my business? Where am I right now in my business that I can most efficiently and effectively implement this system? And do I need new tools? Or do I need to ask better questions about the tools that I'm already using? So here's the 4 questions that I want you to always ask after you've got your system and you start realizing the kinds of tools that you need. How fancy do I want to get? Is this going to grow with me? Am I in a place where I want to grow and I want to get fancy? How fancy do I want to get? Number 2, how much do I want to spend? Just because it's fancy, if I'm in a current place where I'm making $25,000 a year with my business, it might not be wise to spend $500 a year on a scheduler. Unless you know and you have a system around making that money up, right? I mean, I think it's worth it at $25,000, but you might not, right? Do you want to spend a lot of money up front because you already have kind of some vision around where you're going? Maybe you've got some capital set aside and you can invest in the tools right away. How much do you want to spend? Second question. Third question, how streamlined and efficient do I need and want to be? So for example, with the system that I outlined, that checklist just a few moments ago, you could literally do all of that over email and like Facebook Messenger and Google Forms. You could do all of that so simply with all the tools you probably have already if you're watching this Facebook Live. So think about how efficient you want to be and ask, is the current way that I can implement this in line with the way that I want to spend my time and the rest of my life? Do I want this to be easier in whatever my perception of easy is? Do I want this to take less, more off my plate? Yeah, hey, Wendy. Wendy is saying this is exactly what I need to know. Yes, we'll ask about it tomorrow in the Tuesday training. It's an Ask Me Anything, so we can talk about it then. And I've got a blog coming on this on Thursday too. So anyway, how streamlined and efficient do you want to be? This is a very, very open question and is going to be very different for lots of people. Some people, the load of figuring out how to be streamlined and efficient is not in line with their current mental capacity. If it is going to tucker you the F out to try to figure out how to implement a new tool and you don't have it in you right now to do that, please do not. Please do not. It is less efficient to try to spend mental energy on something you are not ready to implement than it is to kind of psych yourself up and be like, no, I'm ready to get this super clean, super streamlined, because streamlined later means lots of work now. Like, just know that, okay? And then question number 4, most valuable question, is how do my current tools already support my system? When we get shiny object syndrome, like I used to do, we say, oh, there's nothing it's just not working for me. All of my tools stink. I need a brand new iPad. I need a brand new computer, right? If I would take 10 minutes to actually research the current tools that I use, I would find that they have the features that I need them to have with just a little bit more education on my part. So, especially if you're an early adopter. So I'm totally an early adopter in software. I early adopted Notion. I early adopted Acuity. I early adopted Well, I early adopted Trello and then I found Notion because I didn't like Trello. But, like I early adopt things. I know that. When you early adopt things, the tendency is to stay stuck in the place that you purchased the thing. And you don't realize that the thing has grown and has new features and new benefits that maybe actually a newer user will know of, because now that's part of their onboarding for like the application's onboarding. So for example, Acuity. I have my assistant and I have Kristen and I have Sarah who just do package stuff for me in there, because for the first 7 months that Acuity was doing subscriptions and packages, I didn't touch it at all. I just stayed in my system with my Wave system because that is what worked for me. And that's what I set up, because when I adopted into Acuity, there was no such thing as subscriptions and packages and gift certificates. So learning how to use those allowed me to get rid of an extra tool that I no longer needed, which was the payment gateway through Wave, because that's all that I was using Wave apps for. I was only using it as an online payment gateway because it supported auto pay and recurring payments. When I learned about other tools that would integrate with my current Acuity system, I could say, oh, I can set up a class in Acuity now. I couldn't do that when I first started. But if I hadn't done researched my own tools, I might have abandoned Acuity and just found something based on a Google search and my panic. So that's just a personal example. Look into the tools that you have now and see where they've grown, especially if you are an early adopter. Most of these places that are the big kind of tech places will have a Facebook group around some sort of, support. They'll have live chat. They'll have email support. And you want to take all that into consideration. So once you've got the names of some tools, where do you even find out about these things? Well, I know they exist, but I don't know where. Ask around. I mean, in Speakeasy, we talk about this stuff a lot. Hey, I want to do this. What are the tools that can do it? And there's a bazillion tools out there, right? So ask around people that you trust, people that you know. Now, one thing that I want you to do is make sure when someone is recommending a tool, ask them, are you an affiliate? Because sometimes people will affiliate things because the affiliate program is really good with that software or that tool, but the actual software or tool really isn't that great. But the affiliate person makes money. Now, the other thing to know about affiliates is that we're required to say, I am an affiliate for these things. So if you have a blog post and you say, I'm going to sell this thing and this is such a great tool, and you link to it to go sell, you have to say, I use affiliate links. I am an affiliate of these things. So if someone is a little bit shy to not announce that they're an affiliate, people make mistakes. I'm not saying that, they're doing it maliciously, but just watch out for that. Make sure, ask that and take that into consideration. Sometimes, I would hope that most people would affiliate things that they really, really believed in, but affiliate selling is people make hundreds of thousands of dollars just selling things through affiliates, which I think is a fantastic way to make money. Just know and do your research on that. Ask people you trust. Once you have a list of kind of the tools, then go to Google and you can literally search compare X and X. And I can almost guarantee you someone has written a blog on this. Can almost guarantee you. So go ahead and just Google that, compare it. It'll probably bring up some sort of comparison blogs. Once you see something that has features that line up with your system, right? Not more is better, but line up with what you actually need, then go to those websites. Big things that you might be considering are email systems, I use ActiveCampaign. There's ActiveCampaign, there's MailChimp, Constant Contact. I'm sure I'm missing 7,000 of them. There's things which are more than email. It's email and CRM, customer relationship management. If you don't know what those things are, you probably don't need them yet. But then once you start having the need, you're like, oh, okay. So then we're looking at something like, ConvertKit, or let's see, my brain is going blank. Lead Pages, kind of. That's more like a page generator. But anyway, think what you need. Go to the actual websites. Most of the big ones, you'll be able to schedule a sales call. Now, sales call is designed for you to ask all of the questions. This is the time when you put them kind of on the hot seat and you say, this is what I need. This is what I need it to do. What is the learning curve on this? What is the benefit? All of that. Get to information. Don't be afraid of the sales call. The sales call is a great opportunity for you to figure out also how effective and efficient their customer service is. Sometimes their sales is a lot more effective and efficient than their customer service. So you might want to, think on that. What was the last thing I was going to say? Okay. After you've done all that, you've got to remember that in the end, it's the systems that are going to sustain you and not the actual technology. Right? The tools are not the things that make your business grow. The tools are not the things that make it easier, even though it seems like that. Your systems make it easier. And then you find the right tools to implement into those systems. So if you're in a place where things are clunky, I want you to go back to your system. Go back to your system. Where is it clunky? Why is it clunky? And is it really the tool, or is it the system? If you need help deciding around tools, if you are curious about what tools can do, then go ahead and ask. But do that from a place of curiosity and wonder, rather than shiny object syndrome and an assumption that you've got to grab onto a tool or a piece of software and application in order to make your business thrive and grow. So that's all that I have for you today around tech and around tools. Let's go over again real quick. So the first, don't start with the tech. Once you're gonna start with tech, don't start with tech, right? Don't start with tech. Don't get shiny object syndrome and resist the urge to buy based on features. More is not always better. Do start with a system. Right? Start with your system. What do you want that system to look like? What is the order of operations? And what kind of tools do you need in order to make that order of operations slick and line up with what you need? Last, ask the right questions. Once you figure out what kind of tools you need, how fancy do you want to get? How much do you want to spend? How streamlined and efficient do you want to be in the long run? And how do my current tools support my system? Learn your current tools better, implement them. If they still don't have the features that you need, that is a great time to add a new tool. Here's the bonus. Please consider learning curve. Always consider learning curve. Bonus tip. Always consider learning curve. The more robust, the more beneficial long term. The more robust, the more learning you're going to have to do. So before you decide on the tool, really sit down, look at your calendar. You've got to plan out when you are going to learn to use the tool. Okay. I need that in the calendar. So Karen just popped in and she just said, I just got Constant Contact last month. It was time. Congratulations, Karen, moving on up into an email management system. That's amazing. So now what Karen's going to have to do is look at her calendar and actually put in her calendar, learn Constant Contact. Watch videos on Constant Contact, practice Constant Contact, set up Constant Contact, right? So always that. And I love what she's saying next, which is robust is great, but only if you know how to use it and if you truly need something robust. And Karen, you literally just put an entire little button on my presentation. And I love that you smelled what I was stepping in and that you picked up what I was throwing down. Robust is great, but only if you know why and how you need to use it. So that's your bonus tip. Meredith Colby is here. Oh, y'all, you got to head over to Meredith Colby. By the way, Karen Lane O'Connor can be found on YouTube, and SingWise. So you could check out her video. She's got a ton of videos going back a long time. I think she's taking a little break from that right now, but you can see all of the amazing pedagogy there. Great stuff. And we've got Meredith Colby in the house saying, oh my God, so true. That's one of the things that helps me put the brake on with cool apps. Do I have the time to learn it? I learned that the hard way. But I think that it's a really, really important thing to own. Like, what is your capacity right now? And if your system is like email and text and that's all you have capacity for, then you know what, lean into that until you're ready to make it more efficient in another way, right? Also with Meredith, can you drop the link to I think you're running another class. So Meredith does work on neurology and singing for pop rock jazz singers. And I think she's running another class. So go ahead and like throw that down in my thread there, Meredith, because I think you're selling that now if you're still here. And then Elizabeth saying, thanks for this. It's good to know I'm not alone with the apps. No. I'm going to tell you, I'm so interested in normalizing what this really looks like to build a business when you have no idea what you're doing. Because when I started out, I had all of my business principles very clear. I was very good at all of the basic principles. But I got to tell you, when there is app upon app upon app upon app upon app upon app that you can choose in order to implement your systems, it gets confusing. And so I had to systematize. I had to have a standard operating procedure around creating my systems and choosing tools. So you'll notice what I did, my 4 questions, that's a standard operating procedure. Every tool I look at the system first, decide if I'm, all those things. That's my SOP for creating decisions around tools. And you know what? The other thing I want to encourage you with is that you will outgrow your tools. So it's interesting because there's so many applications out there that say, we'll grow with you. Like the business will grow with you. So many email management systems do this, right? Like you pay a different rate when you have less than 500 subscribers than you do when you have 10,000 subscribers. What we don't take into account for though, is how our businesses may change once we are using that system. So if you started out, let's say you started out with MailChimp, I did. It no longer served my needs because it was before they turned into a customer relationship management system, the way that many other email management systems are, right? So again, early adopter person was like, MailChimp isn't cutting it anymore. I need to be able to track this, that, and the other thing. And I want to be able to segment people better. I want to be able to have better deliverability. Like I had all these new requirements based on how my system was updated based on the growth of my business. So I had to change applications, right? So you're going to start out with one thing and you might find, hey, this tool doesn't work anymore. I need a new tool. And that is why I'm so about creating your system first, because one tool might work and your system doesn't need to change. And you just need to make your system more slick, more efficient. And that's when you get the new tool. But if you're basing your system around the tools that you have, you're going to be locked in. So here's a great example. And this is not you. Let me be very clear. This is not a knock on this software at all, because this software that I'm going to mention right now is extremely helpful for many micro businesses. Okay. My Music Staff is an amazing tool that kind of does all in one in terms of like client intake forms and scheduling, and you can like even do some bookkeeping in the back end. This is a fantastic tool when you have a certain model, a certain business model, and a certain way that you want to do business. Please use it, learn it, dive in, learn reports, learn how to do the fanciest things you can in that tool. when you start to grow, you might find that the tool doesn't fit your new model, or only parts of it fit your new model. That didn't mean that you made the wrong decision about the tool in the first place. That means that maybe you need to add tools, or you need to switch tools based on what you want now because of the features and benefits and the customer journey that you want them to have. So I love MMS for micro businesses. I love it for people who want a very simple, straightforward, all-in-one kind of thing. They have an amazing customer service where you can literally call them. They're a Canadian company, and you can learn more about them through Nikki Loney, because I think they are a sponsor for her Full Voice podcast. So you can check that out. But that would just be like an example. And I've had people be like, well, I'm trying to get MMS to work in this new thing that I've created. And I'm like, but MMS isn't designed to do that. They're designed for a very specific model. That doesn't mean that you made the wrong decision with the first tool. It means that you've pivoted, or something in your system has changed, or you need something new. And then we revisit tools, right? Or what I've also found is that people actually don't know how to use MMS very well. And when we're like, oh, we get like an expert starting to talk about it and be like, no, you can do that here. This is how you do that there. This is where you find that information, They've learned more about the tool and they're like, oh, this is still exactly what I need. I just adopted it way before that feature was available. All right. So I've yakety yacked for about 30 minutes. So it's time for me to say goodbye. Hey, Sonia. You are welcome. It can be really overwhelming, but that's what we do here at Faith Culture Kiss Studios. We are here to help you with the overwhelm. And hey, Lizarino, we are here to help you with the overwhelm and then to get the actual systems in place so that you can pick the right tools so that you have a sustainable business for exactly what you want your business to do. I hope to see some of my Speakeasy Cooperative members in the Ask Me Anything tomorrow. If you are not yet part of Speakeasy, we'll drop the link in the bottom. We've got a ton of great stuff coming up. And last night, Valerie White-Williams just gave us a little overview, like starting your YouTube channel from the get-go. She's got some successful channels that are bringing in extra income for her. So we did a thing on that. It'll be for Seco people. It'll be up on your members portal in a couple days. And I will see you all on the flip side. If you are watching later, leave me a comment and I'll be out throughout the day to respond and to answer as many questions as I can. All right. Again, I'm Michelle Marquardt DeVoe. If you know someone who needed to listen to this, tell them, hey, I've got 32 minutes of awesome for you, and share this link. All right. Bye.